Race 3 of the BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Cup. We're in Lake Placid, USA. Switzerland's Melanie Hassler had been lying in 6th position after the first of the two heats, and the tall athlete produced another strong start to get herself going nicely. Bianca Reeby, the winner in Whistler, her first ever World Cup race, was the leader at this stage, but Hassler had her covered right from the start. And a neat, tidy drive, correcting a couple of errors that had crept in the first heat, not derailed by the chicane. Melanie Hassler speeding towards the line at 75 miles an hour to take the lead by 0.4 of a second. Next up, Germany's Kim Kalicki. Not the greatest fan of the monobob, but because it is an Olympic discipline, she is fighting hard to find her form. She dropped behind Hassler right from the start. There was precious little between them after the first of the two heats. And in a race that had seen the track record broken 5 times in the first run, the ice was not quite as fast in the second heat. And that seemed not to work in Kalicki's favour. A little bit more grip, but not quite enough speed to challenge the Swiss driver, and she dropped back. Fourth after the first of the two heats, Cynthia Appia. The Canadian's having a great season so far and was looking to move up into the medals. A good strong start, not quite on her start record pace, but Appia settled nicely into the beginning of the run. And then disaster, rolling the sled dramatically. She would eventually cross the line, physically okay, but at the tail of the field, she gets points for 9th position, but any hope of a medal here before Christmas had gone. 3 sleds remained then, including Lisa Bukvit. She was in 3rd after the first heat, having broken the track record and the start record held by Cynthia Appia in her first push. She didn't match the start record, but she had enough in hand to match Melanie Hassler. Bukvit had won the monobob and the women's push worlds the previous weekend in the ice house at Lake Placid. She's in very strong form and was driving well too. Skid in the chicane, but she didn't panic, corrected it nicely and kept her speed to the line, enough to guarantee herself at least a bronze medal. Team USA's Kaylee Humphries 2400ths ahead of Bukvit's after the first run, but it was less Bukvit's and more her German teammate Laura Nolte, who led after the first heat, who Kaylee Humphries was concerned with. The second run, with a couple of skids early on, looked better than Kaylee's first trip down the track. She, like everybody else, is still finessing how to get the best out of these monobob sleds. But the Olympic and world monobob champion put down a smoking second run. It would take something special to deny her the gold. Final sled on the ice, Lara Nolte. She had led the first heat of the women's monobob race in Whistler, only to crash out when trying to claim victory. The pressure was on. A good strong start, and she'd given barely anything away to Kaylee Humphries. But midway through the run, she was dropping just a fraction behind. With only 100th or 2 in it, it could easily go either way below corner 10. A good run through the chicane was enough. It gave her the speed to take the advantage through the heart and claim victory, her first ever in women's monobob. Victory for Lara Nolte at last. And that first win moves her up into 2nd place in the standings, behind points leader Kaylee Humphries.